Welcome into the show, ladies and gentlemen, amigos and amigas. Today we're going to be talking some news and notes and some quarterback and running back rankings for week 3 of the NFL season. We are right in it, and we're going to waste absolutely no time because that's what we do here on this fun show that I run. All right, Deontay Johnson and Dalvin Cook each did not practice Wednesday. Statuses are both very uncertain. I would check your waiver wire and see if Alexander Mattison is available. Definitely bumps up Chase Claypool and Juju Smith-Schuster's value just a tad. Derek Carr will play against the Dolphins, has been a top 5 fantasy quarterback this year. Another guy who I love to stream and could be a season-long option if he keeps this play up. Andy Dalton, Carson Wentz, and Tua Tagovailoa are all likely out. Justin Fields will make his first start, and I love Justin Fields. We'll get into that a little bit later. Josh Jacobs didn't practice. Peyton Barber, gross. Kenyon Drake is a low-end flex play. Elijah Mitchell and Jermichael Hasty were both out of practice Wednesday. Hasty's expected out for a couple weeks. Elijah Mitchell did not practice due to a shoulder injury. And Trey Sermon was limited with a concussion. I don't know how that works, but he was. Niners backfield, just a bunch of stash candidates right now unless Mitchell plays, I would say. No one that I'm eager to play unless Mitchell is able to go and get the full workload. T. Higgins missed practice Wednesday. And Odell Beckham is a full go for this week. Go figure. Jarvis Landry is going to be out a couple weeks. I think that if Beckham is healthy, you fire him up as a flex play with boom-bust upside. But we've been saying that for a couple years, so we definitely have to see it first. All right, quarterback rankings for week 3. Fire him up. Number 1, a new number 1. The guy who has been balling out the most, probably the favorite for MVP if the season ended today after 2 weeks. Kyler Murray at number 1 at Jacksonville. I think that Jacksonville so far this season has looked like a college football team, and Kyler Murray is going to have a field day. He may throw for 5,000 yards in a game. Number 2, Mahomes, taking on the Chargers, locked and loaded. Those AFC West games can easily turn into shootouts, and I love Mahomes and Kyler in really a tier of their own as it stands right now. Number 3, Russell Wilson at Minnesota. Not much to say there. He has been cooking. Tyler Lockett has definitely benefited because of it. And if you listen to me in the summer, when I said to grab Tyler Lockett, he was one of the values. It's looking like that's going to pay off. Number 4, Lamar takes on the Detroit Lions all day. Lamar had a really impressive game the other night against the Chiefs. And Detroit, I'm so sorry that you have to face Lamar Jackson. Number 5, Dak Prescott taking on Philadelphia. Number 6, Josh Allen versus Washington. 2 studs. Not much to say. Josh Allen honestly hasn't looked as good as last year this year, but I would expect him to get better as the season goes on. He's too good of a player not to, but Washington is definitely a nice challenge, and we will for sure get to see if that's going to be the case. Number 7, the GOAT, taking on the Rams, Tom Brady. That Bucs offense looks like it's firing on all cylinders. Fire them all up, except for the running backs. Don't do that. Aaron Rodgers, San Francisco. Yeah, I don't know. They sure looked good against the Lions, but for some reason, I saw a stat that Rodgers, spread-wise, has never covered against San Francisco, and it seems like he always plays down whenever he plays San Francisco, especially when they're at San Francisco. That's just always been a team that has had Rodgers' number, but I'm playing Aaron Rodgers if I have Aaron Rodgers. Number 9, Justin Herbert taking on the Chiefs. Future stars of tomorrow. As a Dolphins fan, it hurts, but Justin Herbert's a really great player. Number 10, Matt Stafford taking on Tampa Bay. Another value guy from the summer. I think Matt Stafford continues to cook for the Rams, and I know the Bucs defense is tough, but you still got to fire him up. Number 11, Jalen Hurts taking on Dallas. He has that rushing cheat code. The throws might not be the best, but in fantasy, we don't even care. Number 12, Teddy Bridgewater. Been really solid this year. He gets the Jets, and if you're looking for streamers, Teddy Bridgewater for this week would definitely be at the top of my list. Number 13, Kirk Cousins taking on the Seahawks. Number 14, Daniel Jones taking on the Atlanta Falcons. Oh my goodness, that is gross. Daniel Jones will probably not be this high up in rankings ever again, but the Atlanta Falcons have looked really gross, really bad, especially week 1. Week 2, they looked like an NFL team. Week 1, they did not, but Daniel Jones, especially in fantasy, can run. He has rushed for a couple of touchdowns this season already, and one of them might have gotten called back. But he's looked good on the ground. Definitely looked good on the ground in fantasy. Quarterbacks that can run just have value. They just do. 15, Ryan Tannehill taking on the Colts. 16, Derek Carr taking on the Dolphins. 17, Justin Fields at Cleveland. Bring him out. Justin Fields. It is time. I cannot wait to see Justin Fields play football. If he is on your waiver, he is worth a stash. He has top 5 finish upside. We've seen rookies come in and absolutely ball out. First-year players come in, absolutely ball out at quarterback, especially in the recent years. And if he has the rushing upside, that is the floor that you want. And all he has to do is be a decent thrower, and he can easily finish as a top 10 quarterback. Sam Darnold at Houston tonight comes in at number 18. Number 19, Baker Mayfield versus the Bears. 20, Joe Burrow at Pittsburgh. 21, Trevor Lawrence versus the Cardinals. Oh, man. I don't think that the Jaguars start could have gotten off to any worse. Hopefully it gets better. And Trevor Lawrence is another guy who's too good of a player to be playing as bad as he has been. I think that coaching has a lot to do with that. So we'll have to see. But Trevor Lawrence, really only a good option this week if you're in a 2 QB league. Matt Ryan against the Giants at 22. Big Ben, 23 against the Bengals. The Steelers always own the Bengals. Yeah. But he is hurt. So unless it's a 2 QB league, I would stay away from pretty much all these guys past 20. 24, Jameis Winston at New England, and 25, Jared Goff taking on Baltimore. All right, as for the most fun position in all fantasy football, the running backs for Week 3, top 40. Fire them through rapid fire. Okay. Christian McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook, 1 and 2. McCaffrey gets Houston. I expect them to absolutely eat their 8-point favorites. And Davis Mills is starting at the quarterback position for the Texans. I've spent too much time talking Christian McCaffrey already. Plug him in. Dalvin Cook gets Seattle. Boom. Kamara taking on the Patriots. A little worried. I don't know. Belichick's pretty good at taking out the top target for the other team, but Alvin Kamara is just so good. You're not sitting him. Derrick Henry absolutely went off, dropped a 50 burger for his fantasy members on the Seahawks last week, at least in PPR. He looks good. I'm not going to lie. I said to fade Derrick Henry earlier this offseason, and I'm still going to stand by that take. But if you have him, congrats so far at least. Number 5, Nick Chubb, the most solid running back in fantasy, the most automatic running back in fantasy, taking on the Bears. Boom. Aaron Jones gets the Niners at 6. Joe Mixon at number 7 against Pittsburgh. Ooh, man, that defense is tough. And the Bengals really couldn't get anything going against the really good Bears defense last week. But you're playing Joe Mixon. Running back is gross. Jonathan Taylor at 8 against the Titans. Number 9, Najee Harris gets the Bengals. I think that this is a bounce-back game for Najee. I really do. I have him in a ton of leagues, and I'm really hoping because I am pretty invested in Najee Harris. Number 10, Austin Eckler against the Chiefs. Hopefully the receiving game continues to be a factor for Eckler because especially in PPR leagues, that's pretty much why you drafted him, where you drafted him. Number 11, Chris Carson, just so solid, gets the Vikings. Number 12, Antonio Gibson against Buffalo. Number 13, David Montgomery against the Browns. Now, after these 13 players, I think that those are the guys that you feel really, really good about starting. Those are like the last 13 that you just plug in no matter what. And I think that after those 13 guys that I just mentioned, every single player from here on out has at least one question, I would say, if not multiple. So, 14, Ezekiel Elliott against Philadelphia. Did not look like the best running back in his own backfield. That is sad. Tony Pollard, if he is still somehow out there on your waiver wire, please grab him while you can. Number 15, Saquon Barkley gets the Falcons. He gets the Falcons. That is the good news. The bad news is Saquon does not look like 2018 Saquon, and I think that that's fine. I don't think that it's fine that their O-line is terrible, and it's kind of a wait-and-see approach. He plays the Falcons this week. If you have him, play him, hold him, and if he goes off, I wouldn't mind selling. I would not mind selling. Number 16, DeAndre Swift gets the Ravens. This is a guy that I think can continue to rise. He's really good, but the Lions are really bad. So we'll see. Miles Sanders gets the Cowboys. Another solid player, but there are other players in that backfield that are pretty good too. Number 18, Damian Harris gets the Saints. In PPR leagues, Damian Harris has a lot more questions than in standard because he doesn't really catch the ball, but he can run the ball on the ground. Had one of the best runs of the season against the Jets just last week. Number 19, Tyson Williams against the Lions. Anyone in that Baltimore offense, at least how it's looking so far, is a nice play. And Detroit is just Detroit, man. Number 20, Myles Gaskin gets the Raiders. How is Gaskin going to perform this season as well as without his starting quarterback? 21, CEH gets the Chargers. But man, oh man, if Clyde Edwards-Helaire cannot get anything going this week, he is going to plummet in pretty much everyone's rankings, I would think. Because after 3 weeks, if he drops another like 4 or 5 fantasy point game, people are going to be fed up. You took him in the early to late third round, and that is not acceptable from a third-round pick. 22, Kareem Hunt gets the Bears. 23, Melvin Gordon gets the Jets. 24, Chase Edmonds gets Jacksonville. Chase Edmonds, plug him in and play him and enjoy the Cardinals' offense. Looks like it's going to be super, super elite. I wish that their running game was a little bit better, but it really is looking like it's going to be up there with the I don't want to say Chiefs and Buccaneers, but I'd say the Rams and Packers, maybe that next tier of crazy elite. Elijah Mitchell, if he plays at 25 against the Packers. 26, Leonard Fournette against the Rams. 27, Kenny Drake filling in for Josh Jacobs against the Dolphins. Revenge game. Kenny Drake has some really hard feelings towards the Dolphins, don't we all? I think Drake is a solid flex play this week. 28, Javonte Williams against the Jets. When is the takeover going to happen? 29, Tony Pollard, the better Dallas running back, gets the Eagles. 30, I put Darrell Henderson / Sony Michel against the Bucs. The Bucs run D is ridiculous, obviously, but if Henderson, you almost hope Henderson takes this week off and Michel just gets the full workload so you're not like guessing, because I think that if they both play, then both are kind of off fantasy radars right now, because I don't know how as a running back you play with a rib injury. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not there yet. 31, Devin Singletary looked good last week. Burst onto the scene against the Dolphins. And this point in running back land, to quote the football guys, these are all just what the heck flexes at best. 32, James Robinson takes on the Cardinals. James Robinson, I would be trading him right now for whatever you can get. Just trade him, and on name value alone, just get what you can get, because in 3 weeks he is going to be droppable. You heard it here first. Get James Robinson out of there. It's not last year. He doesn't even look as good as last year, and the Jaguars are maybe worse than last year. It's doomsday for James Robinson owners. Latavius Murray at 34 taking on the Lions. 35, Mark Ingram taking on the Panthers. 36, Michael Carter against the Broncos. Michael Carter is worth a stash. 14 carries, 14 touches last week. And I think that this Jets season goes south quickly, and they might just want to see what they have in their younger rookie backs. 37, James White gets the Saints. Solid in PPR. 38, Rojo against the Rams. 39, Naheem Hines against the Titans. And 40, J.D. McKissick against Buffalo. So that'll do it. That'll do it today on this episode. I thank you guys so much for watching and listening. We're going to have a Spreads podcast out tomorrow. Saturday, we're going to do starts and sits as well as receiver and tight end rankings for week 3. Enjoy the game tonight. I have the Panthers covering 8 for what it is worth, and I think the Panthers absolutely whoop them, walk into Houston, and just do their thing. We'll see. Does Davis Mills have the answer? I don't know. We will know by the next time that you hear my voice. I thank you guys so much for listening, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Take care.